In this video, I struggle to remove a price tag. Why do they make it so freaking hard? My phone gets fried under the hot sun. Oh dear, what am I gonna do now? And I say something you don't hear quite often on YouTube. As you can see, it does not scratch on level 6 and it does not have deeper grooves on level 7.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to LawTech Pro. If you're new to this channel, I do all sorts of G-Shock videos, such as rod tests,
3, 2, 1, go.
and also conduct the most extreme torture tests.
I've frozen this watch to minus 24 degrees Celsius.
Hey guys, LawTech Pro here. Today I will be unboxing the G-Shock Rangeband GPRB 1000 1CR. I'm going to take you through all the features and then give it a NIST score. I bought this watch from Amazon a few months ago and I have been using it as my daily watch for a few weeks now. So I am going to share my thoughts about it, the good, the bad and the borderline insane. The outer cardboard box has two stickers with barcodes on them. The one over at the bottom mentions the model name GPRB 1000 1CR and the watch module 3452. And this is the main box, covered in plastic. Not very environmentally friendly, but it's good to see some extra protection. I'll get rid of that, revealing yet another cardboard box. This one has the G-Shock logo along with the words Rangeman printed in red at the top. Moving over to the front, we can see the Casio logo. Don't let the simplistic nature of this matte black box fool you. The Rangeman is an insane watch. Enough talk for now, let's dive right in. On cue, there are two informative looking information cards. This one cautions you about ceramic materials being utilized in the case back, as ceramic is ceramic and improper handling can damage it. The other one is what you would expect to see displayed next to the watch in a retail shop. It has the best shot of the G-Shock Rangeband printed on it, along with the words, "The world's first solar assisted GPS navigation." Ever present are the disclaimers, based on a Casio survey as of January 9th, 2018, and a grammatically incorrect sentence mentioning the solar charging being used to resume GPS functions. Alright then, on to the business end of things. How much does it cost, and what colors is it available in? Being a master of G, the Rangeband has the right mix of both features and quality. It also means that the Rangeband is at the premium end of the G-Shock spectrum. It is listed at a price of $850, but I got mine for $800. Currently, the Rangeband is available in two colorways. I will be unboxing the black GPRB 1001, while you can also buy the military green GPRB 1000 1B. There was a 35th anniversary Magma Ocean edition of the Rangeband, as well as a Toyota Land Cruiser collaboration. Moving over to the back of this card, we see the G-Shock logo again, and below it are the words "Pursuit of the Strength to Overcome Harsh Environments," as well as mud-resistant structure, fine resin insert bumper, GPS antenna bezel, and they really do seem to love that ceramic case back, as it makes yet another appearance. Below that, it says "Wearable functions for survival under arduous conditions." Well, the current homebound situation is probably the most arduous conditions most buyers will ever face. There are screenshots of the G-Shock connected app, which I think is pretty cool. Now what does this barcode do? Turns out, it takes you to the Casio support homepage. Moving on, under this sheet of styrofoam is the watch box. This box is covered in vinyl and feels like leather to the touch. It has the G-Shock logo in white and the Rangeband logo in red, and the box itself is matte black. It feels pretty premium. I'll set it down for a second. Usually G-Shock watches come in this black steel box, which is almost as tough as the watches themselves, but not very premium. I'll set these aside and proceed to unearth all the accessories that come with the Rangeband. I'll get rid of the styrofoam. I don't understand why Casio needs to protect the watch so much. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong way. All this is probably to prevent the watch from damaging the accessories. In the first pouch, we get some pink bubble wrap. Just kidding, there's more to it. This bubble wrap houses the wireless charger for the watch. The charger with its three claws looks like it's from outer space. I'm sensing a red bias theme here. At the front, along with the G-Shock logo, are the words electromagnetic induction and wireless charging. Sadly, no USB-C here, only micro USB. At the back are these little reflective pieces, which I suppose emulate the positioning of the wireless charging coils. On closer glance, you can see that it says "Made in Japan" on it. This is what I call attention to detail. Then, inside the same pouch is a micro USB to USB charger. Nothing else to see here, and there's no wall adapter included as well. Casio is trying to save a couple of bucks. So then, let's take a look at what you get in the other pouch. I really appreciate Casio in taking the time to improve the unboxing experience. First, you get the international warranty regulation and warranty cards, then the FCC statements, and finally the quick reference manual. I'll set that aside so I can have a closer glance at the warranty cards. The cards come in this clear plastic pouch. Wait, this isn't a card, it's the warranty regulations booklet. Behind it is the actual warranty card, which is enclosed in plastic and is the exact same size as a credit card. I guess it's Casio's way of telling you to purchase more G-Shocks. Turning the card over reveals a cutout for the dealer's stamp. I'll set these aside. I don't want to damage them, as in a couple of decades, these in-box accessories may cost more than the watch itself. I never understood these FCC statements. They are truly a load of gibberish. It's all to do with the watch not interfering with the functioning of any other electronics and not being affected by other electronics as well. This is a quick reference guide for the G-Shock rangeband, which uses the 3452 module. It is small considering all the features the rangeband has. Thankfully, this barcode opens the PDF version of the user manual. This is a user guide for the Mudmaster, and it absolutely dwarfs the rangeband's. It seems like it's 5% the size of the Mudmaster's user guide, which is taller than the Mudmaster watch itself, one of the largest G-Shocks Casio has ever made. If you're wondering as to what's inside this guide, there's no need. I'll show you myself. A section is dedicated to charging the watch. I will speak more in detail about this later, as the tension is now at breaking point, and it's time to banish this from the video frame and bring in the main watch box itself. I'll just choose the 2x telephoto lens for a closer look. And that is huge! The rangeband comes enclosed in this plastic cover. But first, about the watch box itself. On the inside it says G-Shock and rangeband. In red, of course, the materials used are soft to the touch and feel high-end. The red accents continue with the red vinyl around the edges. You will see a lot more of these red accents throughout this video. I just love the thud. That is the sound quality. The textured logos at the front are a nice touch. This sticker covering the screws was not needed. Exposed screws signify toughness. Interestingly, or not so interestingly, googling absolute toughness throws up the G-Shock website. Even through this pesky plastic cover, I can see the solar panel, which takes up nearly half of the dial on the watch. Do dispose these covers in a bin, as they are a slipping hazard. With the rangeband extricated, it's time to brush over its design and styling. Speaking of brushes, the first thing that strikes you is that the space gray stainless steel GPS antenna bezel and the 4 screws holding it together have a brushed spinning mirror effect, as do the oversized buttons and the screws holding the bands and side bumper in place. All the screws are real, no fakery at all. It says navigation system, triple sensor and protection over here, G-Shock over there, and this is the triple sensor's location. Usually most G-Shocks appear large due to their resin bezel and bumpers, while the module itself is smaller, except this time the GPS antenna is the bezel and thus the watch itself is actually big. All the buttons are labeled as adjust, mode, receiving and light. Scrolling up using the electronic crown is forwards and scrolling down is reverse, and pushing it in opens up the navigation menu. The complete mirror effect on it is nice as well. All the buttons can be rotated and hence have a very tactile feel to them, all of which translate to the rangeband looking like a beast. Now, onto the durability and toughness of this watch. At the top of the band it says mud resist, carbon fiber and solar powered, which means you can run through a muddy forest trail like this guy on the screen, stage an epic fall, acting like it was an accident, slather the rangeband with mud, and still press all the buttons in to your heart's content. Nothing can get inside the watch. It's completely mud resistant. Like all other G-Shocks, the rangeband is shock resistant up to a height of 10 meters and can survive a fall from a 3-story building, while also being resistant to vibrations. Furthermore, thanks to the ceramic case back, which enables wireless charging and high sensitivity GPS reception, a first for a G-Shock, it is water resistant up to 200 meters. The rangeband also has low temperature resistance down to -20 degrees Celsius or -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Thanks to the solar panel, even if the battery is completely depleted, all watch functions and GPS functions for a limited time can be resumed after a few hours in the sun. Now, it's time to test if glass is real sapphire with a scratch test. I'm not taking any names, but a company whose name rhymes with Apple uses impure sapphire with scratches at a Mohs level 6. I'm starting out with the razor blade, which is a level 5.5 on the Mohs scale, right about where mineral glass like on the old Rangeman would start to scratch. Though right now, it isn't doing any damage. The sapphire crystal is unblemished. Sapphire isn't famed only for its scratch resistance, but also its insane clarity. As you can see, the display is easily visible through the glass, even under direct light. And that is the importance of sapphire. Time to take it up a notch with the hardened titanium scissor, around level 7 on the Mohs scale of hardness. Even though I'm applying quite a lot of force, nothing is happening yet, as sapphire is one of the strongest materials on earth, scratching at a level 8 or 9 on the Mohs scale, just falling short of diamond at a level 10. Moving over to the back, I just can't stop myself admiring the little touches Casio has added to it. Ceramic, while not being as hard as sapphire, is cheaper and easier to produce, and also allows electromagnetic waves to pass through, which is important for wireless charging, GPS sensitivity, and the Bluetooth smartphone connection. It is surprisingly resistant to smudges and incredibly easy to wipe clean. The razor blade does not do any damage, though this compass-wielding cat etched into the ceramic is slightly coarse, and the lines you see is actually from the blade being scratched by the ceramic back case itself. This razor blade is not helpful at all. Maybe the titanium scissor will do some damage. I'll start over at the side for better visibility. But again, as you can see, there are no blemishes. This cat with a compass on its paw looks like it's craving for attention, so I will do just that and scratch its neck. As you can see on the screen, it does not scratch at a level 6, and it does not have deeper grooves at a level 7. This can be explained from the fact that ceramic is at a level 7 on the Mohs scale of hardness, and even titanium is at a level 7 on the Mohs scale of hardness, and materials with the same hardness cannot be scratched by one another. Good job, Casio! G-Shocks have a reputation for being tough, but no one talks about fit and finish, which surpasses the competitors' timepieces. Wait, there are no competitors. The bandkeeper is steel and is horizontally brushed and has the G-Shock logo stamped onto it. The buckle is also stainless steel, but is brushed vertically and has a mirror effect on the edges, and twin tongues in the middle to better grip the adjustment holes. This ensures that the strap will never come undone by itself, no matter the situation. And there we have it, a first look at the carbon fiber insert resin band for added toughness, which I think is a gimmick, but it's eye-catching nonetheless. The ceramic case back is next level with its drawings, logos, and proclamations. Over here it says Global Positioning System, Rangeman, Shock Resist, and Water Resist 20 bar. There's a satellite, a flag atop the mountain range, and an angry cat with a compass on his paw. There's a Bluetooth logo, IC logo and IC number, ceramic back, it says low temp LCD, and Japan, and it says sapphire crystal over here. With these screws hidden under translucent plastic tabs, you get one uninterrupted back. This ceramic back itself is worth the $800, as are the carbon fiber inserts. What's not worthy of even $1 are these plastic tabs covering the screws, which serve no practical purpose except to prevent buyers from opening their watch. The Mudmaster has curved plastic tabs, which protect and strengthen the lugs, but also provide a comfortable fit no matter the wrist size. It makes a Mudmaster one of the most comfortable G-Shocks to wear. The Rangeman with its flat back leaves huge gaps between the edges of your wrist and the watch band, which means that the weight is spread over a smaller surface area, thus making for a less comfortable fit. Speaking about weight, the Rangeman weighs in at 142 grams, while the Mudmaster only weighs 119. Furthermore, the Rangeman is larger than the Mudmaster in every conceivable dimension, as there's a distance of 60.33 mm between its lugs and has a dial with a diameter of 57.7mm, while also having a depth of 20.2mm. The buttons on the Rangeman are very easy to press, especially when you consider that they are also mud resistant. However, unlike the checkered buttons on the Mudmaster, these buttons can be slippery to press if your fingers are covered with sweat when navigating under the sun. Another thing to note is that the rangeband has an extremely wobbly crown and buttons. This may be for shock resistance purposes, but the Mudmaster has a solid, lockable crown and buttons which do not show any wobble whatsoever. I need to remove this price tag without damaging it, as I feel the accessories may become collectibles.
2,000 years later.
Why do they make it so freaking hard to remove? There, finally I removed it. Remember the red accents I mentioned earlier? Well, these are supposed to emulate the red alpha gel around the crown, which is used to provide extra shock resistance. Interestingly, the same alpha gel material is used at the back of the watch module, but it is grey in color, probably to save a few bucks here and there. I'll just tap my iPhone display so that it focuses better. And here's the first red accent below the protection lettering. There's more on the side bumpers. The screws holding the band to the lugs use red gaskets to prevent water ingress, and the triple sensor has a red plastic piece protecting it. And there's more at the top as well. Also, the watch face has rangeband and navigation in red. The rangeband bellies its weight when you wear it on your wrist, but mark my words when I say that many will stare at it and think it's a toy watch from a distance, due to its huge dimensions. Anyway, moving on to wearing the watch itself, which is a 4-step procedure. First, you need to push the band through the buckle, then place the watch on your wrist, select the correct adjustment hole, and finally push the band through the buckle, like so. And there you have it, an extremely secure fit. The STN display also has good viewing angles. The sapphire crystal is a bit too reflective. Removing it is the same procedure in reverse. It may seem a tad too complicated at first, but that's because I'm doing this procedure while also looking at my iPhone's display. You do get used to it. There is one important thing to note if you wear your watch on your left hand. It's that while using the crown, the bumpers on the side of the watch can come in the way of your index finger, preventing you scrolling efficiently. Since I wear my watches in my right hand, I can use my thumb to scroll up or down, and it isn't obstructed by the bumper of the watch that much. The buttons may not be solid to the touch, but they are certainly solid to look at, and the piano black ceramic back is gorgeous. What isn't gorgeous though is the band keeper, which has a G-Shock stamped onto it. Nothing wrong with that, but the cheaper Mudmaster has a unique band keeper, though mine is a bit scuffed up. Another thing to note is that the matte finish on the bands is easily scratched by the band keeper and other everyday objects, such as tabletops. This does not happen on the Mudmaster, as its band has a textured finish. I've used this in muddy terrain and dropped it onto rough surfaces for 4 years, and the band still looks brand new. What I don't like about the band on the Mudmaster though is that the lip at the edge of the band, which holds the band keeper in place, is too short, so the band keeper may come undone. There are no such issues on the rangeband, however. Because it has 2 steps at the edge to better hold the band keeper in place. I'll remove the Mudmaster GWG-1000 from the frame, as it's now time to provide a brief overview of all the features and the modes which the rangeband has and how you can access them. Navigating through the rangeband is incredibly simple, as all the buttons are labeled. It says adjust over there, so I'll press it, takes you to setting, it says display, airplane mode, alarm, home city, and DST. And time and date, beep, light, and unpairing. This is the back button, I'll press it, and press on the light. So it is pretty bright, but the camera isn't picking it up. And the next is the navigation button. It says GPS navigation, point memory, recall, and setting. Press the back button and press on the receiving button now. It says receive, Bluetooth, time GPS, time and position, phone finder, and history. And that's it. Now the back button becomes the mode button. Mode 1 of 2 is timekeeping, connect, compass, altimeter, barometer, sunrise and sunset. It does take quite a while to show up. Tide and moon, stopwatch, timer, and world time. I'll go back to the home screen, and it's time to look at the navigation. The main reason everyone is here. I will be showing you how to set up the navigation route using the G-Shock connected app. But first, let's take a look at all the features which the world's first solar-assisted GPS navigation watch contains in its arsenal. First, we have GPS navigation, which allows you to navigate and log. The watch collects location data from GPS satellite to display the current location en route or bearing to destination in real time. and it also has a recall mode to display all the log data. And then there's also the backtrack mode. The watch helps users navigate back to where they started, using track to display data to the route back to the starting point and bearing. Backtrack mode displays route and bearing back to the starting point. And there's also point memory. The user can save point data including date, time, longitude, latitude, altitude, atmospheric pressure, and temperature by just pushing a button. Set point icons to indicate the type of point is also available. And this is how you set up the navigation route. You just tap, 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 set waypoints, and it's done. There are 3 ways through which you can connect the range band to your phone. Just press on the mode button and head over to connect. And then it shows this incredibly cool animation. Or else, you could simply press on the receiving button and click on Bluetooth. Shows the same animation. But my personal favorite, and the one that Casio recommends, is to press and hold the mode button for 2.5 seconds, like so. Just press and hold, and then the Bluetooth opens up. To pair it to your phone, you just open the G-Shock Connected app and bring it close to the watch. It says connected now on the watch, and on the app it says connection completed. And then you head over to the activity page, click on route setting, click on the plus sign, click on create new route, and then you can search for any start point. Or else you can choose any location around you by using the map. So I'll just click on this area as my start point, and then if I want I can zoom out. I can choose any point on the map as the start point. I'll just choose that, click on next, and then you can register the goal point or the end point as it's marked with a G. And then click on next. You can create a route. You can set up to 9 waypoints or more. It all depends on the length of your route because that takes up the memory on the watch. The longer the route, the less points you can add. So you just tap, tap, tap. And then if I want to, I can zoom in for better resolution and then put more points up to the goal. And then I'll click on next, and then you can also designate specific waypoints. I'll click on OK. Before you transfer to the watch, you need to save it with a name. I'll just save mine as test number 2, like so. Click on done. Click on transfer to the watch. Transfer. It says transferring to the watch on the app. What I like about the app is that it has a black and red theme, exactly like the Rangeman. It's still not done transferring the data though. Wait, it says done on the watch here, so it's done. So how to use the navigation mode on the Rangeman? Well, it's incredibly simple. You just push on the crown twice, like so. 1, 2, it says please wait. It does take some time to latch onto a GPS signal. It says now receiving log number 4.
A few minutes later.
So 2 minutes have passed since I entered the navigation mode, but there's still nothing as of yet on the screen. Maybe it's due to the cloud cover. Oh, there it is, it just came on now. At the bottom it says 40 kilometers, shows the elapsed time and the current time, and then at the top it shows the memory usage. This shows how much memory is left for the activity and point data information. The longer the route, the less information you can save. And then if you press adjust, like so, it shows you the total distance you need to cover, the distance from the start point. I'm currently not at the start point, and if I press it again, it takes me back to the memory usage page. And I just need to show you this. Even under direct sunlight, the SDN display is completely visible, no issues at all. If I press receiving, I get the option to backtrack, but I won't do that right now. Instead, I'll show you another cool feature about the Rangeman. If you push the crown in, like so, it doesn't register all the time. I'll do it once more. There you go. You get these 2 arrows for forward and reverse. So I'll zoom in. It's zoomed in from 40 kilometers to 4 kilometers now. You push the crown in forwards again. Now it's down to 2 kilometers. This lets you see your destination and points easily. And then if you push the crown twice more, like so, it shows the bearing to destination mode. This mode has the current time and elapsed time at the bottom, and the memory usage and battery level indicator at the top. Though honestly, it is a bit laggy, but once you start moving, it gets a whole lot better. So I'll just press the receive button now and show you how to backtrack. Just press the receive button, click on backtrack, press enter, it starts the countdown, click on go, it says please wait, and then it starts to backtrack. And there you have it. Without any delay, the Rangeman shows you the bearing to destination back to the start point, which is incredibly handy for me because I'm currently not at the start point, as I'd mentioned earlier on in this video. The final GPS feature is point memory. Accessed by pressing the mode button and scrolling down to point memory, you can save up to 60 point memories based on the length of your route. It says set icon I'll choose yes. Then you have a choice of 24 icons, including a location pin, a warning triangle, a fire hazard, I don't know what this is, a flag, a star, a mountain range, a U-turn, and finally, since I'm taking photos and videos over here, a camera icon. It says please wait, and then the setting is completed. This saves the GPS location information and sensor information on the watch. You can also recall activity and point data on the watch itself in any mode by simply pressing the crown in and scrolling down to recall and selecting point. It says please wait, then it shows you a list of all the points according to their date and time. After selecting one, it recalls the icon and data such as latitude and longitude, elevation, pressure, and temperature. You can also check activity data on the watch itself by simply going back to the recall homepage and then scrolling down to activity, pushing the crown in, it says please wait, and yeah, it shows the activity data. At the bottom it says back, and you can also lock it by pushing in the receive button. I'll push the crown in, nothing happens. I'll try and lock it, it says not available. This is because the activity is still ongoing, so I'll scroll down and lock the second one. It says please wait, and still waiting, it says setting completed. To delete any point memory or activity data, just press the adjust button and select one or all. There is one more GPS feature, which is a dual task display. Unfortunately, my iPhone overheated under the hot sun. Oh dear, what am I going to do now? And I had to record this in the evening. The dual task display can show both GPS navigation points and the time and date on the home screen of the watch. To enable this feature, just press the adjust button, enter display, click on screen, and scroll down to time plus navigation and press enter. It says setting completed. Pressing the mode button twice takes you back to the home screen, and there you have it. The GPS navigation points are shown according to their elevation and distance at the top. So then, how do you analyze all the GPS data collected by the watch? Well, it's simple. First, you need to connect the watch to the G-Shock connected app as I've shown earlier, and then head over to activity and click on log import. Click on yes. The data transfer is in progress. The time taken for the data transfer depends on how much activity or point data you have collected, and it should be done anytime now. No, it's still not done. Okay, it's done now. After that's done, you need to click on all activity, like so. A banner comes up, click on OK. Click on any activity you want to access. It shows the total distance and the total time, and there's also a map. It shows the highest distance, the activity time, activity distance, cumulative altitude difference is also shown on the map. For me, it's 3.6 meters. And you can also change what you see on the map. For example, I'll just change it to a satellite view. It also shows that I've taken a photo at 1529. There's also a 3D map which shows the distance, the total time, the altitude, and you can also change this to topographic or satellite as per your requirements. It also shows the latitude and longitude that you were at. Currently I'm at 875, 876. Shows a complete step-by-step, minute-by-minute tracking of all your data. And you can also take a look at the point data. I only have one as I only took one picture. So it shows the time, the date, and the title. So that's how you access the GPS data. How good is the battery life and how do you charge it, you ask? Well, if the GPS measurement interval is set to normal, location data is acquired every minute and you get about 33 hours of GPS use. With the interval set to high rate, location data is captured every few seconds, hence the time drops down to 20 hours. The rangeman has a standby time of 29 months and a battery life when not using GPS of 17 months. Other functions work 2 months extra even after a full GPS use. Also, it must be noted that the GPS functions are only available when the battery is above 50%. At 50%, all functions except GPS are available. At 25%, all functions except timekeeping is disabled. And at 0%, the message charge will appear on the display. When the battery is dead, the display goes blank. You can, of course, use solar charging to prolong the GPS use. 5 hours of solar charging gives 1 hour of GPS use. If you're navigating through a forest with heavy tree cover, you can get a maximum of 37 hours of GPS usage. If it's partially cloudy and there's nothing else to block the sunlight, you can get about 40 hours of battery life. If it's sunny while you're navigating, you could get a maximum of 48 hours of GPS usage. Just think about that. If you have access to a wall plug, you can use wireless charging to top up the battery from nil to full in 5 hours. This alien claw lookalike clips onto the rangeband near the sensor over here, and there are notches below the light and receiving buttons for it to hold on to. Though this may scratch the watch, but I'll show you anyway. You just place the watch like this, push with all your strength, and then it clicks into place like so. Turning it over, you can see the micro USB charger, sadly no USB-C. It's very firm, sits very securely, this is not coming out by itself. And this is how you charge the watch, by placing it on a flat surface. And when you plug it in, this is what happens. So I just plugged it in. Wait, there's nothing. Yeah, that's plugged in. And now it says charging battery, and a little lightning bolt animation comes on next to the battery level indicator. And if you're in any menu, such as the GPS navigation menu, and you plug it in, the same thing happens. So I'll plug it in. It says charging battery, and then if I go back to the home screen, it shows the battery level indicator and it says it's charging. Now let's talk about the G-Shock connected app, which is available for both iOS and Android. So you just press and hold the mode button for 2.5 seconds. I really love this animation. It alternates between G-Shock and shock resist. Really cool to look at, though the Bluetooth does time out after a while, so you'll have to press connect again. So I'll press it, and there, it automatically connects to the app. And it says connected, connection completed. Automatically opens to the activity page. I'll click on the GPS mode. I'll set it to high rate. I recommend high rate because location accuracy can be improved. And then I'll go back. I'll go to wall time. Yes. The wall time is currently set as London. I want to change that to Tokyo. Just select Tokyo, set the city on the watch, and then it's going to set it to the watch. Simple as that. The animation changed, which means that it's receiving data from the phone. It says please wait. Wall time was set. It's done. And then that's not the end of it. There's also utility. You can set a total of 4 alarms, and you can also set the timer from here, all from the comfort of your phone. There's also a snooze function. So I'll set the time, send the setting to the watch, it says done, setting completed. I'll go back now and head over to settings. Click on your watch. This tutorial app display settings, automatic clock capture. I've turned it on. And then this phone finder settings. You can set the music and the volume you wish. So I'll just increase the volume so you can hear this. The phone finder range is about 10 meters or more if you're in the same room, as it's easily blocked by walls and other things such as tables and whatnot. So I'll go back. I'll go to operating check of auto time adjustment, notify once a week. So this automatically checks the auto time adjust on the watch. And then there's watch display settings. I'll head to that. Watch screen. You can change it to basic. I'll change it to basic. Time plus barometer, time plus sunrise and sunset. But I like basic. And there's 12 hours or 24 hours display, unit, measurement interval, screen display unit. Put it to number, and I'll go back. You can set the operation sound from the app itself. I'll turn it on because I like the sound. And then I can set the time for connecting to this app. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. 10 minutes, no, I'll keep it at 3 minutes. And then there's automatic time adjustment, which uses GPS to set the time automatically on the rangeman. I'll set that to on. I'll go back, and then there's light settings. Auto light on because I like auto light, and 3 seconds long. I can also set the location for the tide graph display. So you just search for any coast you want which has tide graph information, And that's it, it's done. Wait, this is interesting. Ephemeris automatic acquisition. Ephemeris is used to shorten the GPS measurement time of the watch. It's the orbital information of the satellite used by GPS. And this is really high level stuff. And then you can change the GPS measurement interval settings. I'll just enter that. High rate or normal, I'll keep it at high rate. And that's pretty much it. It's time for an in-depth review of all the features on the Rangeman, starting with the settings. I'm just going to press adjust. Setting 1 of 2, this display, screen, 12 or 24 hours. I'll enter that. I like 24 hours, but I'll put 12 hours for this review because it just looks better. Setting completed. I'll go back. And there's this display again, screen, this basic, and then there's time plus navigation. I already showed you that. I'm going to show you time plus barometer now. Enter, and then press back by using the mode button, and there you have it. Time plus barometer. It's a 48-hour graph over here. And then there's display, screen, screen. There's also time plus sunrise and sunset, setting completed. Go back again. Shows a sunset and sunrise. 5:55 and 6:36. Display, screen. And this is the final one, time plus world time. Setting completed. Go back again. There's Tokyo, and then there's India time. Press adjust again to go to settings. There's airplane mode, off or on. I'll keep it at off. Then there's alarm. There's a total of 4 alarms, and you can adjust it on the watch itself. There's a little P next to the 8 over here. That's the PM, of course. I'll just click on that. Wait, I'll choose the 831 because it just looks better. And then it says snooze off. This exit and shift. You can change everything using the crown. So I'll just change that, the R. And then if you press shift, you can change the minutes, like so. But it does not move very fast. It's extremely slow. Anyway, leaving that aside, I'll just put it to 8:30 again. Press shift again. And this is the snooze function. I'll put it to on. And this is how you save it. Setting completed. So this is how the alarm sounds. Not very loud. And it only beeps 12 times. And this is the snooze function. It beeps every 5 minutes until you turn off the alarm. And then there's home city. Enter. Kolkata. There's UTC, London and Paris. And there's more. Dubai. I'll go back. There's DST. Auto. India doesn't use DST. If I go down this time plus date, you can set it manually. Exit and shift. I'll exit because I don't want to mess up the time. No, don't save. And then there's beep. I'm going to mute it for the rest of this review. Off. And press the crown in. Push the crown in, sorry. Setting completed. And you can go back. That's a good thing about this. All the buttons are labeled. Light, auto light on. I like auto light. It's currently off, I'll turn it on. Setting completed. This is the auto light function. It's very good. If you're just moving your wrist around like this, it doesn't turn on. You need to put it at a 45-degree angle or 40-degree angle. Only then it works. So it saves battery as well because it's not turning on all the time. Like so. Pretty cool. And then there's unpairing at the bottom. Change the duration to 3 seconds. Setting completed. I'll go back. And yeah, there's unpairing. Unpairing, yes, no, no. What does unpairing mean? That's bad grammar. At the bottom it says snooze, and there's mute, and then there's light. Next, let's look at the receiving. This Bluetooth, if you press it, you know what happens. The animation comes up and the Bluetooth turns on. I'll exit that. And then this time in GPS, it says receiving, there's a satellite on top and the watch at the bottom. And this time in position, this time with 3 satellites. That's pretty cool. As you can see, the time in GPS only has 1 satellite, as you only need 1 satellite to receive the time. The time in position needs many satellites. And then there's the phone finder. If you're wondering, this is how it sounds. So you press the receive button and click on phone finder, and then it just says phone finder on the watch and it rings. To exit, you just press any button and it cancels. Simple as that. And then there's history, specifically time adjustment history. So you can see all the time adjustment history over here. 2020, 2019. I'll go back once more. And then if you press the navigation button, it says GPS navigation, point memory, recall and setting. We've already seen all of this. Does it work inside? Wait, it does work inside. Now receiving log number 5. I'll go back since we've already seen this. If you're still here and you still haven't subscribed, do it right now. Leave a like and a comment below as well. So, it says mode 1 of 2, timekeeping and connect. I really love this animation. You can also connect via Bluetooth by pressing the receive button, or you can just press and hold the mode button for 2.5 seconds. I'll show it to you right now, like so. And then that opens the Bluetooth menu. If you scroll down, this compass, and this shows the bearing of the watch. That's the bearing memory. I'll release it. Release. Yes, that's better. North 8 degrees, 0 degrees, 357 degrees, 7 degrees, 2 degrees, and it's not changing now, even though I'm tilting the watch towards my face. That's because this range band has a 3-axis compass. If I press adjust and go to bearing memory, I'm going to set it by turning the watch over to the left, set, and then you need to push the receiving button, so I'll just push that. I set it at 279 degrees, and if you press adjust again and scroll down to magnetic declination off, you can change this. Save and exit. No, I don't want to save anything. And then I'll go to calibration. This is the best. So this is how you calibrate it. You point it ahead, press the receive button, and then you rotate the watch 180 degrees and press receive again. And because it's a 3-axis compass, you need to place the watch on a flat surface and then push the receive button again. So I'll do just that. Place it on a flat surface and then push the receive button. And there you go, it's done. Now I'll go back to the mode page once more and head down to altimeter. At the top it says difference plus 8 meters, and currently it's at 870 meters. I can also perform a differential reset like so, and then that sets it to plus 0 meters. If I raise it, plus 1 meters. I'm going to go to calibration now, manual. I can calibrate the units, tens, thousands and 10,000s like this by pressing the shift button or the receiving button. I'm going to exit, save and exit, no. And then there's also offset off. If you want, you can turn it on as well. And then I'm going to go down to interval, 5 seconds or 2-minute intervals. I'm going to choose 5 seconds, or you can also choose 2 minutes for longer. Recording. Setting completed. I'm going to go down to screen. You have the option of value or graph. Graph is better if the altitude is changing at a rapid pace. And then there's unit, there's meters and feet. I prefer the metric system, so I'm going to keep it as meters, setting completed. And this is the graph. My elevation isn't changing, so all the bars are of the same height. The insane thing about this watch is that it uses GPS elevation data to automatically calibrate the altimeter. So now it's at 932 meters. I'm going to enter the navigation mode. It says please wait. Now receiving log number 2. This is going to take a while, so I'll just cut this.
1 eternity later.
Okay, so it's done. It's been 2 minutes. I'll go back to the altimeter mode by pressing the mode button. There, it should change now. What? It still didn't change. It's still 932 meters. So I'll just exit, and maybe after that, if I enter again, it'll change. I'll exit now, scroll around for a bit, give it some time, and I'll enter the altimeter again. It'll be using GPS elevation data. There, it should change. What? It didn't change still? Wait, did you see that? That's mind-blowing. It's using the GPS elevation data to give you the most accurate altitude readings. Simply amazing. With that, I'm going to move on to barometer. In the default display, it shows the temperature at the top as 26.9 degrees Celsius and the pressure at the bottom as 913 HPA. I'm going to press adjust and go to the settings. So it says barometric information, calibration, screen, and unit. I'm going to turn barometric information on as it can save your life, but this takes a lot of battery. It shows sudden or sustained drops in pressure, or shifting to a rise or shifting to a fall as well. Just to inform you, sudden drops in atmospheric pressure can lead to adverse weather situations and can also foretell storms such as this one. So I'll just enable that, setting completed. Casio knows it's important because the baro sign is visible in every page. We'll go down to calibration, setting, barometer, manual. You can change everything just like the altimeter. Save and exit, no, I prefer it this way. And then you can also change the manual offset to on or off. Thermometer, manual, and then you also have offset over here. You can change the decimals, units, and tens by pressing shift. I'll exit. I don't want to save, no. And then if I go back, the atmospheric pressure display times out after 1 minute. You can reset it by pressing the receiving button. The light button works as well in every mode. And in every mode, the GPS button also works. So I'll just press adjust now and go down to screen. Click on that. Wait, go down to what? No, I didn't mean to do that. That was a mistake. I'll go back to screen again. Select graph, setting completed. And if I go back, it shows a 48-hour atmospheric pressure graph. And at the bottom, it shows the temperature as 26.8 degrees Celsius. Next to that, you have the battery level indicator, and below that, you have the current time. Casio has some temperature reading precautions. Body temperature, direct sunlight, and humidity all have an effect on temperature readings. To help ensure more accurate temperature readings, remove the watch from your wrist, wipe it dry of any moisture, and place it in a well-ventilated location not exposed to any direct sunlight. You should be able to take temperature readings after about 20 to 30 minutes. As you can see, my hand is changing the temperature reading, so better take it off and place it in a well-ventilated area until the watch cools down. Even though I haven't strapped down my watch, it's still displaying the incorrect temperature as it's influenced by my body temperature. Scrolling down brings up the second mode page, the first mode being sunrise and sunset timings. You can move to the next day simply by pressing the receiving button, like so. Or if you want data for a specific day, just hold down the receiving button, after which you can choose the year using the electronic crown. Then press shift again to choose the month. I'll choose June, and press shift once more to choose the day. Then, if I press back, it shows the sunrise and sunset for the specified day. As mentioned before, pressing the receiving button shows the next day's sunrise and sunset timings. The next mode is the tide and moon graph. As you can see, it shows the moon graph and the tide graph. So I'll just press adjust over here. I can set the high tide. It's already automatically set. If you want, you can change it. I don't want to change it because it's already set. Save and exit, no. And then you can also choose the hemisphere. I'm going to set mine as southern hemisphere. Setting completed. I'll go back. And there you go. It shows the time and the high tide level and low tide level. So that's the time. And that's the moon phase. 18.2. And then you can shift to the next day by pressing the receiving button like so. And then even the moon phase changes. Now it's 24.2. Like in the sunrise and sunset mode, pressing the receiving button allows you to specify a date to check the data. So I will reset it. Then you can move to the next day by pressing the receiving button. I'll just change it to 2019, change the month, to April. I'll go back, and this is the data for April 21st, 2019, 22nd, 2019, and that's the tide and moon graph. The next stop is a stopwatch. I'll just push the crown in. You start the stopwatch by pressing the receiving button. It does lag quite a bit, and there's no hundredth of a second, but you can still activate the split function by pressing adjust while the stopwatch is running, and a little split logo appears on the screen. You stop it by pressing the receiving button, then press adjust again to see the split time. Pressing the receiving button continues or stops the timing, and pressing adjust for the final time resets the stopwatch to 00. I'll go back and go down to timer, push the crown in. It's a 24-hour timer, as you can see. You reset it by pressing the adjust button. I'm going to change the timer time. All you need to do is press adjust, enter timer time. I'm going to set it to 0 hours and 45 minutes, which is basically 45 minutes. Save and exit, yes. Setting completed. I'll go back. I'm going to start it by pressing the receiving button. Okay, that's dismal. It didn't even register. Even if it does, it takes quite a long time to start. If you press adjust, it resets, the light works, and I'll go back so we can take a look at the last mode, which is world time. I currently have it set to Tokyo. It's 6:38 over there. It also shows the UTC time of plus 9 hours and the date over there. If I press adjust, I can change it to any city I want to. Tokyo, UTC, London, Paris, Dubai, Delhi, Kathmandu, Dhaka, Bangkok, Hong Kong, anything. It's your choice. Tokyo, I'll just set it as Tokyo. I really like the animations on this watch. It says setting completed and there's screws on all 4 corners. I'll just show you what I mean. DSC, I'll set it to auto, and there you have it, 4 screws around the setting completed icon. This rounds up all the features on the range band. I'll go back. The controls on the range band may seem a tad too complicated, but over time it simply becomes muscle memory. One thing to note is that the display isn't exactly circular, it's actually octagonal. I'll turn on the light so you can see. So it's cut off at the edges. It's not completely circular, but you don't see it because the solar panel is on top. At the right side of the watch, you can also see these 2 LEDs which light up the display during nighttime. And now, it's time to give the range band a NIST score. Starting with the enthusiast categories and styling, the range band is a purpose-built G-Shock and definitely looks the part, but it isn't gorgeous by any means. However, the tough looks mean the range band earns an 8 out of 10. Next up is importance. The range band is Casio's first true smartwatch, and the various special edition models confirm it is important to Casio, earning it an 8 out of 10. The range band is one of the coolest G-Shocks you can currently buy, only falling short of the special MRG handcrafted models, hence it gets a 9 out of 10 for cool factor. The quality on the range band is a hit and miss. The band is easily scratched, but the sapphire crystal display, ceramic case back and carbon fiber inserts make up for it, and it fetches an 8 out of 10 for quality. Durability is where the range band knocks all G-Shocks out of the park, as it's the only model confirmed by Casio to have low temperature resistance, mud resistance and vibration resistance, which means it gets a 10 out of 10 for durability and 43 out of 50 in the enthusiast categories. Next up are the everyday categories and features. The range band is one of the most feature-packed G-Shocks ever made, but it is worth noting that models such as the new G Squad HR, GBD H1000 have a few features that are missing from the range band, such as step tracking, a heart rate monitor and notifications, but no other G-Shock has a navigation mode yet, which means it still gets an 8 out of 10. The range band is not too heavy on the wrist, but it doesn't have a curved back unlike the Mudmaster models, and forget about fitting it under a shirt. This won't even fit under your jacket's arm, so it gets a 5 out of 10 for wearability. The range band is easy to use provided you take a day to browse through the user manual, as all the buttons are labeled, at times by the STN display itself, so it gets an 8 out of 10 for usability. Moving on to service and support, it's not yet known if the range band will receive software updates in the future, or if it's even equipped for the same, as I have never received even one software update. However, the 1-year international warranty, 2-year national warranty, and complimentary customer support still means the range band gets a 7 out of 10 for service and support. Finally, we are left with value. The Rangeman is an incredibly durable watch, which makes no qualms about being the ultimate survivor's watch. Hence, it gets a 9 out of 10 for value, for a total everyday score of 37 out of 50, and the NIST score is 80 out of 100. So then, what's my final verdict on the Rangeman GPRB 1000? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you go right ahead and buy it? Well, if you don't need the GPS navigation features, I think you should avoid it. The Rangeman is too bulky even for a G-Shock. However, if you want the ultimate survivor's watch, I think you should go right ahead and buy it. It's pretty bloomin' amazing. The Rangeman is not for everyone. Instead, it specifically targets those who love adventure. So, start navigating. Be a survivor.